My name's Jacob, I'm a calisthenics champion, and over the years I've tested endless tips to better feel and engage my back during pull-ups. In this video I'm sharing the top 4 tips that actually work, because even though pull-ups look simple, getting the right activation is deceivingly difficult. It requires you to control and contract muscles that you can't even see, specifically those around your shoulder blades. And unlike other exercises where visual feedback can help, building a mind-to-muscle connection is harder when the primary movers are hidden away. So, to no surprise, many people struggle with this exact and very frustrating issue of not feeling the back engagement. And when that connection is missing, the arms end up doing most of the work. This can feel more intuitive at first, but it leads to weaker performance, is worse for hypertrophy, and if done over a period, builds bad habits. But the good news is that the targeted fixes are very effective, and with a few reliable tips, you can quickly improve your pull-up and back engagement. So let's get into it. The first tip is a simple but very important one. It involves lifting the chest and looking straight up. As you initiate the pull, this naturally makes the shoulder blades come together, which is a key aspect for back engagement. However, as mentioned, manipulating the shoulder blades require a strong mind-to-muscle connection. So if your main strategy is actively trying to squeeze them, maintaining the position is difficult and requires a lot of focus. What often happens is that form breaks down as soon as fatigue sets in, especially if you are a newcomer. But luckily, focusing on the shoulder blades is not the only way to enter the right position. Because when the shoulder blades come together, something else happens at the same time. Your chest automatically opens, in the same way that it opens when getting in position for a bench press. So instead of thinking squeeze the shoulder blades, you can reverse the cue and focus on lifting your chest. This puts you in position without overthinking the technique, and it allows you to get a feel for the right activation. As you continue pulling and the reps get harder, you can prevent the chest from caving in by raising your chin and looking straight up. This small adjustment helps maintain posture and avoid technical breakdown under fatigue. And you can keep this chest up, look up strategy from start to finish throughout your sets. And don't be afraid to exaggerate it a little, so much that the open chest creates a curve away from the bar. That's what we see from pro athletes performing at peak efficiency, where the lats take the lead while the arms and biceps support the movement rather than dominate it. The second tip is to visualize that you're bending the bar in towards you. This helps bring up the chest and creates an inwards rotation of the elbows that keeps them tucked close to your body. The result is increased tension, shoulder stability, and lat activation. In contrast, letting your elbows flare out to the sides is problematic because it's an overall weaker position. As the arms move away from the body, you lose leverage and shift the load away from the lats and onto supporting muscles like the upper traps and delts. So to avoid this, we keep the elbows tucked by applying a slight rotational pressure as if bending the bar. It's not an extreme adjustment, just enough to guide the movement and feel the activation. And as you approach the top of the pull-up, you can continue the inwards motion, like you're trying to make your elbows touch behind your back. This should make you instantly feel the squeeze coming from the retraction. Alternatively, a different tip that does the same thing is to imagine squeezing oranges in your armpits. It sounds a little weird, but try putting your arms over your head right now and see if it works for you. It's also worth noting that this technique works especially well with a wide hand placement. A wider grip further encourages a lat dominant position with the elbows tucked and pointing down. It's still possible with a narrow grip, but the mechanics make it harder to control with the elbows having to face more forward. It's not a strict rule, but if you're having trouble feeling your lats, I recommend trying to bend the bar and going wide at the same time. If you're interested, I've made another video about the optimal hand placement for performance, which I've linked in the description. This tip is what has worked best for me and probably the one with the most potential. It involves shifting how you interpret the movement, and it does require some practice. Most people start their pull-ups without much thought or intention. As soon as they hang from the bar, they bend their arms right away. The main focus becomes getting the chin over the bar, with the arms pulling down to make that happen. But there's another way to approach it, and it starts by engaging your back before you even bend the arms. This happens through the activation of a scapula raise. arms. Scapular raises involve moving the shoulder blades down and together while keeping the arms straight. On its own, it's a great exercise to improve your mind to muscle connection, but it can also become a helpful cue to start your pull-ups. As you're hanging passively from the bar, initiate with a scapular raise and then smoothly transition into bending the arms. This can be difficult in the beginning, but over time, as you improve your control, it becomes quicker and more fluid. Then as you continue the pull-up, try to keep the tension you created from the bottom. You can even think of it as gradually intensifying that contraction rather than beginning from scratch. This way, the back activation comes first, with the arms bending, only to deepen that contraction. From my experience, this approach helps by shifting the entire feel of the pull-up. Now the back starts and leads the way, reinforcing the idea of a lat-dominant movement. This final tip is the most complicated to pull off since it's a very small adjustment. It involves pre-activating the lats through straight arm pressure. You've probably felt your lats activate when you press against the surface with straight arms. That's the main principle in straight arm pull downs, and we can also utilize it in pull-ups. Similar to the last tip, just before you start the actual pull, slightly press into the bar with straight arms. From this activation, immediately continue the pull-up. It's a quick micro adjustment to prime your lats, making them more responsive and ready to drive the pull. It can take a bit of practice to get the timing and feeling right, especially when combined with the other tips. And I will say that this cue is not for everyone, but give it a try and see if it makes a difference for you like it did to me. Good luck improving your pull-up and your mind to muscle connection with these 4 tips. Hopefully the video was helpful. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.